Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the Iron Legion. We are here today with episode 6 of the Iron Podcast. I have with me here Tim Morris, our G1 CSGO captain.
Hello.
And with him is our Call of Duty gold captain, Chris Deathridge. What's up, Chris?
What's going on?
So today, before we get into the rest of our plethora of news articles, we're going to start with a little news from here at Iron Sentinels, and that is a couple things. First, Chris's team, our Gold Call of Duty team, is going to be attending UMG Carolina here next month, and hopefully winning the whole thing. I mean, we don't know, but we got our fingers crossed, so that's pretty exciting. Along with that, our Gold CSGO team will be attending their own LAN event, Overclock, in March, early March. So we've got 2 big events coming up for Iron Sentinels. We'll keep you posted on all of our social media, how they're going. You know, keep your eye on the website for pictures and stuff from the events. It should be a lot of fun. You know, give us all the good lucks so that we can win and get all the monies and the success. You know, it'll be fun. But that is what's going on here with us. And with that, we will move into the news.
So, first article is Xbox One is getting, well, to say completely destroyed in Japan right now. So, first week of the month, they sold a staggering 99 units. And then the PlayStation 3 in the same week sold 1,939 units. The PS4 sold 25,000 units. And the 3DS sold 30,000 units. So basically, Xbox One is getting completely demolished in Japan. For some reason, they are getting demolished. And this is something I've been following up on too. Even last year, like, they would be getting 300 a week. And I don't think it ever went above 1,000.
Well, I mean, you
it's
gotta look at the
getting
market because,
decimated.
you know, PlayStation, especially PS3, they still got a lot of anime games and stuff, and there's a lot of games that come out on PS4 and PS3 that we don't even see come over here. And Xbox just doesn't have a Japanese market, so they're putting games like Halo and Dead Rising and all their exclusives on the Xbox in Japan, and they don't care about that. They want to play their anime games and, you know, all the stuff that's really in Japan. So, I mean, it's not surprising.
Yeah, plus it is kind of Sony's home turf, so I mean, they probably maybe can push their stuff a little bit easier than Microsoft can.
I'm not surprised that they're doing bad. I'm surprised that after a year of having similar results that they haven't just dropped Xbox One over there.
I think they could try to give them away and they still wouldn't increase the numbers.
Yeah, like what are they gaining from investing money into Japan right now? Like, I don't feel like they're gaining anything. It seems like it's a lost cause.
Just part of an overall picture. I'm sure it doesn't concern them that much. They make a little bit of money and that's it.
If they weren't to put Xbox in Japan, someone in Japan would complain about it. So,
might as well offer it, sell some units, and just take the income from that.
Because they've been getting wrecked there for a long time. Even with the 360 also, it was almost the same thing. Like they've always struggled in Japan as a market, but they keep going after it. I just think it's kind of like a waste of time.
I mean, I don't think it's the fact that they're trying to go after it. I think it's just they want to make their console available to everybody in case anybody does want one. But I mean, like we said, I mean, like Chris said, there's a lot of games that come out in Japan for like PlayStation and stuff that we don't ever see because that's Sony's home turf, and Sony is more connected with that culture, and they allow exclusives of like anime type games and a lot of Japanese support over there because that's where Sony's from. Microsoft is not centered in Japan, so they don't have that connection to the people and the government and the culture that goes on there. So, you know, but at the same time, why not offer their console just in case anybody does want it? Get a few sales and move on. I mean, it's all part of a bigger picture. They're not going to take it out of it.
How many of those 99 systems were returned?
Who knows?
So let's go on to Division news.
The
So
Division.
some of the news that's been coming out is that the Division in general is kind of maxing out specs across the board. Like I heard there was a article that I read that it maxed out PlayStation and Xbox, and then the PC requirements came out, and then the PC world is in shambles because the recommended graphics card is a GTX 970, which came out like last year.
Yeah, it's
That is
an intense game.
That's insane because usually the recommended card is like the last generation. So usually it'd be like a GTX 770 or 780 or whatever. But
Yeah,
and
I
the spec difference too between minimum and like recommended is very strange. So like the minimum required graphics card is really really old. Like really old. So, like, I think what these recommended specs are is if you're playing on fucking, like, everything on Ultra, all anti-aliasing on, you have, like, a fucking triple monitor, like, a bunch of shit, because I don't see why these minimum specs would be so low and then the recommended specs would be so high.
I think
Regardless to say, it does mean that the game will be beautiful. If they're recommending the cards and what they've been saying about PlayStation and Xbox, the game is going to be gorgeous. It has to be.
Don't put Xbox in that sentence. You know that their max cap is 720p.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure Xbox. I mean, I've seen a lot of Xbox footage because that's what they've been showing it on often, and I mean, it's not ugly and it looks pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I think Ubisoft's just really taking a step out on this one, and they're trying to push the real limits of like graphics and video games, and they really want to show off with their Snowdrop engine, which I think they developed just recently. Really do, and so this is how they're gonna do it is through the Division, which is why it's so high.
It also gave us a good look at what like the beta. Okay, so the recommended hard drive space is 40 gigabytes.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's gonna be a big game.
I mean, it is open world, so it's not too surprising. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I expected it to be pretty large.
So other Division news is that the Division DLC is confirmed first to Xbox One per GameStop, but people are wondering what kind of DLC, which we don't even know a ton about the entire game. Besides the little bit of gameplay that
I don't think they've said anything. I'll have to check like my work news.
Yeah, so we don't know how long of a timed exclusive it's going to be. All we know is that the DLC content is going to be first on Xbox One. That's all we know. And for some people, the fact that DLC has already been developed and stuff before the game has come out, I'm already seeing the DLC warriors coming in the comments right now going like, why are they developing DLC before the game is even out?
Well, I don't know if they've actually confirmed like any date on a DLC. I don't know if that's happened yet or not. I just know that they said that Xbox gets content first. I don't know if they actually have the DLC developed as it is. But you also have to keep in mind that this is kind of a unique situation. I mean, they've been on this game 3 years now.
Time. It's been delayed multiple times, so they've been fixing bugs and stuff. The actual game's been made.
Yeah, the game's been made for a while, so the fact, even if they do announce like DLC not too long after the release, that's really not something you should care about because the game's been done for a while. They've just been ironing out all the glitches and the bugs and all of the effects and things like that. So
the way that I see DLC is it can help kind of like it helps push a game to be more relevant later on. So like let's say they have a DLC for a game that comes out like 3 months after it came out, and it's like a single player game. Not a lot of people are probably going to even care about that game at all. Might not even buy the DLC. But if they do it, say like a month afterwards, people still have the game in their head, and they're probably more likely to buy it. So there's a reason why they released DLC pretty soon, because in this game, I would say it doesn't say as much because they're going for like a Destiny type thing. So most of the people are going to be playing this game like nonstop for a while. But you have to release DLC for even these types of games like Destiny, The Division, in order to keep things kind of fun. Because if you're doing the same things over and over and over again, it can get pretty boring if there's not a lot of content. And that's the big worry for me in the Division.
Yeah, that's what Destiny had.
The thing with this game is if it doesn't have a lot of things to do, it's going to be like Destiny, and there's going to be a lot of hate towards it. It really depends on how they did it, though.
I'm interested in a military-type Destiny game. It just can't be the exact same as Destiny, otherwise it's going to lack content.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's as much of a concern. I mean, of course, obviously it's different developers, different publishers, so I mean, it shouldn't be too much like Destiny, and Tom Clancy games in general tend to be pretty good as far as like content like that are concerned. Plus, Ubisoft's really, really been big on free DLC recently. Like all the maps and operators in Rainbow Six, you don't have to pay real money for. So it's kind of like Ubisoft's new motto to just give out, like, we don't want to break up our community, so we like to give out a lot of free stuff. And if you want to pay, you can, and you get some little benefits, but they make sure that everyone gets content, without having to pay absurd prices, which, we can attest to this. Bungie's pricing, I've spent a lot of money on Destiny, and I did not enjoy Destiny that much, or at least not enough to like equivalate to the money I spent, So I think one thing that really did hurt Destiny is the pay barrier to get all the extra content, like the Taken King and whatever else is going to come out in the future for Destiny is absurd. And I don't think you're going to have that problem. Yeah, exactly. Like the Taken King, what was that? Like another $50 or something?
$40, but you had to have the first 2 DLCs. If you didn't, you had to buy them separately, or you had to go out to like a store and buy the whole game again with all the DLC, which is like cheaper.
And you paid all that money, and I don't know, the Taken King maybe had like
frustrating day.
Yeah, and the Taken King was like what, 7 hours of content? That 8 maybe. You'd finish the whole story in one day and be done with it.
With Destiny, I don't know what they're thinking. They had Destiny 2 scheduled to come out this year in September, and they had to indefinitely suspend it. They hadn't even technically announced it. It was going to be shown at E3, and they were going to have that come out in September. I don't know what they were thinking, but that was pretty much going to be a Destiny DLC. Like, they really need to rehaul that game and do something with it to call it a Destiny 2 and be worth $60 again. Otherwise, people won't do it besides the people that still play it.
Yeah.
If they want an MMO, they need to make and give the type of content that is required for an MMO.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the way they've treated it is kind of like has MMO aspects to it, but they don't give the same amount of content that is required to play a game as much as you should be playing Destiny. They want you playing this game and grinding almost every single day, but the thing is that the grinding you're doing isn't even fun. It's not like you get a new mission or there's like a new area. All of the missions are done in the same exact locations over and over and over and over. It's boring, and none of the DLC even, I think, added like a new area besides the Taken King, and even then that was just like a spaceship.
Yeah, for me,
that was exciting.
Them calling their game an MMO, that game's an LMO. It's a little multiplayer online game. There's not enough people in that game for them to be like, oh, this is an MMO. There's like 16 people in the tower. Max.
Yeah, it's true. It's really, I don't know. They don't know what they're doing with themselves. Like, they tried to combine 2 genres, and they didn't do it well.
Like
and
ESO.
It suffered, and like ESO did, and hopefully, the Division won't be that way, though I don't think they're really trying to go for an MMO feel. I think people are just labeling it that way, because the only actual like place in the Division where you can see all the players at once is in the Dark Zone, which is the PvP area in the middle. Other than that, it's not an MMO. It's just third-person co-op. Like, that's all it is. There's no.
They said how many people are going to be in that Dark Zone?
I don't know if they put a limit on it, but it seemed like, from what I understand, there wasn't any limit on it.
Sounds like a crazy area.
The fastest way to lose all your stuff.
Yeah,
basically.
Like going into a big city in DayZ.
So let's go into esports news. ESL raised the prize pool for the Pro League to $1.5 million for 2016.
Just for Counter-Strike?
Yep.
Yes.
So before, the available prize money was 1 million, and now it's 1.5. Which
That's awesome, because they did that with Call of Duty this year. It's always been like $1 million for like the final tournament, and for the championships this year, at the end of the year, it's $3 million just for the championship.
Well, that's what's funny is that like a lot of these prize pools are always laughed on by like League of Legends fans or Dotas because their tournament prize pools are like fucking 19 million or something.
Super
like
Bowl size.
It's like retarded how much. Like, and I'm not a MOBA player, so I never get I don't get why MOBAs are so popular. That's just part of it is they're free. That's probably one of the biggest reasons. You don't have to pay money for them. But this is pretty cool that they're finally getting up there. And
Yeah.
It is a growing scene. Like, esports in general has been growing. I think last year was kind of like the build up, and I think this year is going to be the year of esports where it's going to have more viewers than ever.
Oh, definitely. It's the way that its growth margins have been absurd. I mean, the pace that esports is at right now is unmatched, really. It's crazy how much growth happens from year to year, especially when you look at esports like 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago it was still popular, but at the same
It wasn't
time,
really as big.
yeah, nobody even talked about it really. Even us, we barely talked about it at that time, and now we are in the esports business. So it's like the growth is absurd, and the prize pools really reflect that. 1 million to 1.5. Next year, I'm sure it'll be probably closer to 2 million, and it just keeps going up like that. And like you said, League of Legends and Dota, theirs is like 17, 19 million dollars, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is like 3 million now, which is crazy in its own way. Call of Duty's taking the biggest jump.
What kind of esports do you guys watch? Me, I mainly watch Counter-Strike now. But
Well,
what do you watch?
I mean, it's my job to watch all of them, but
Well, what do you like the most?
I mean, well,
I'm pretty sure Mortal Kombat changed that today.
We discovered this today. Just today, we all started watching the ESL Pro League Mortal Kombat finals, and for me personally, that was pretty entertaining. Like, I enjoy some good CS:GO, and good Call of Duty is fun because Call of Duty is so smooth and fluid with the motions, and wall running and stuff is really fun to watch. But that Mortal Kombat was some good stuff. I mean, it was violent.
I didn't expect
quick.
that much of a competition from such a simple game.
Yeah, you really don't really understand. Like, I've only seen maybe a little bit of like some Street Fighter stuff and a little bit of like old Mortal Kombat like competitive play. But you just really don't realize the complexity that goes on behind the scenes of that stuff. I mean, we saw in like one of the commercial breaks, they were showing like some combos you should use with Raiden, which is a character in the game. And it was like 30 buttons you had to do. It was like a
nuclear code.
Yeah. It's like, first of all, I don't know how anybody remembers that. Second of all, the speed that your fingers have to be moving to input that all in the time it takes for it to actually hit in game is insane. Yeah, I tried to play Mortal Kombat and I sucked.
As a long-time Mortal Kombat player and fan, that's hard to do.
Yeah, exactly. And like Chris, like he just said, he's a long time player, and we were watching and he's like, and I thought I was good, but then when you see these players, it's like, holy crap, like,
yeah, they're nuts.
How do you do these things? But yeah, Mortal Kombat's definitely one of my favorites. CS:GO is really good to watch, but I think CS:GO is one of those esports that it really thrives or fails depending on the caster quality that's involved.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, you got to have Anders. I mean, this is true for most esports, but on CS:GO, you really need Anders or like one of those quality casters to get you like jived up and ready to go. Call of Duty is pretty much the same way.
It depends on the event, honestly, because I was just watching the MES event, and that looked like something straight out of like some person's basement.
Yeah,
it was horrible quality, horrible casters. They had like a projector as their jumbotron showing and casting the game.
Yeah,
it was very, very poorly
That's bad.
maintained.
The thing with esports is, if the event does not put in the effort, it's noticeable. Like there is a huge noticeable difference in an event that has a lot of funding and a lot of detail put into it and an event that doesn't.
You can
Like
tell
what
by
Chris,
the prize pool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
that too.
An example was a couple of weeks ago, they had the MLG Counter-Strike versus the Star Ladder. And Star Ladder had like 150,000 viewers. And I think MLG struggled to go past like 50.
Because one of their
50K.
casters was like in his 60s trying to learn
Yes.
how to
Well, that
cast.
and
Casters were bad.
when you compare what Star Ladder looked like to MLG, it's laughable. It really is. Like Star
Right.
Ladder looked so professional. They had good casters there. I mean, it was really good. Even the people that were at the desk after the match is done and they talk about what happened, even they were pretty good too.
True. There was a stark difference, and of course in Counter-Strike that is partially because MLG is of course it was a North American event, and Star Ladder was a European, well, I guess just international event. And that's a big difference in Counter-Strike. If you're not a Counter-Strike watcher, North American Counter-Strike is a lot less popular, a lot less successful, and gets a lot less funding. So it kind of reflects in the presentation. MLG, like Chris said earlier, one of their casters was in his like 60s, he's never even played the game before, and the area that it was happening in was just some small room with their desk with computers, and there was no audience, no nothing. The Star Ladder was a massive like arena with a huge stage and crazy effects and cameramen on hoverboards and freaking, I don't know, probably like, those hoverboards, the new things that all the young people and the Viners use.
Yeah.
Well,
They had their cameraman on those.
Yeah, the cameraman he had like a vest and like a rig set up to keep him balanced, and he was holding the big camera, and he would use the hoverboard to get like panning shots of the team stuff. It was crazy. Like, I don't know how he does that, but it was super cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then of course they had like an audience of probably like 20,000 people or something like that. It was nuts. Like it was huge. The scale is just so much bigger.
Dude, I'm kind of nervous because there's going to be a shit ton of people at UMG South Carolina. There's probably over 200 teams competing, not counting all the people and celebrities that are going to be there and everything. That's going to be pandemonium.
Yeah, fingers crossed we get pretty high up there, but
Yeah, winning's a long shot because, once you get past the open bracket, once you get past that 30,000 that's guaranteed, you get automatically thrown into that bracket with Optic and all those people that are in the pro division and that have a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, if we can get the team up to that point or somewhere to where it's all over the place and people know who we are, my job's accomplished.
This is a very true statement. That's mostly what we're going there for, is for any kind of exposure. Like you said, winning is a stretch. If they were to go in there and beat the pro league team, that would be kind of absurd.
If they need to hire Anders for commentary.
We'll be getting a lot of stuff if they win the pro league.
We need Anders going in there when Iron Sentinels is winning, going, "Oh my goodness, they do it!" And he just starts freaking out, like flips the table over, and
it would.
We win the pro division. I will take my jersey off and do the worm in front of everyone.
There you go. So everybody tune in because you're gonna want to see that. Obviously,
yeah.
Need to hope for them to win so that you will see Chris take his jersey off and do the worm, because that will be hilarious.
So let's go on to Overkill's The Walking Dead shooter. Has been delayed into 2017.
I don't know anything about this.
So they basically just did a small announcement a while ago saying that they're going to be making a Walking Dead like game. If you don't know, Overkills, they're the people that made Payday, and they recently came under a massive amount of criticism over them saying, we're not going to have any microtransactions in Payday 2, and then they released microtransactions in Payday 2. Yeah. So I do think that this will the stuff from Payday will probably make people a bit kind of put off by this game, I would say. Because I'm not gonna buy this the second it comes out. I'm gonna wait to see the reviews and see how it is.
If it plays like Payday, except like Walking Dead survival style, it'll be a good game. The problem that I'm worried about is, and maybe them delaying it's gonna fix this. Payday 2 ran so bad on PS3 and PS4. If it's anywhere the same, it's just gonna be pointless.
I mean,
it was such a poor performing game.
Is this? I mean, I stopped watching the show. I don't know. After like season 3, like halfway through season 3, because I was bored with the show. It got repetitive. But regardless of that, I mean, is Walking Dead still got a huge following? Is this too late for a game? Are they gonna really?
They still have a decent amount of people watching.
The season, it's starting to catch up with the comics. Like in the comics, I forget his name, but it's probably the baddest dude in the comics. Like he kills a lot of people, cuts off like Rick's hand and shit. Carl's dead. I don't know the comics very well, so I might be wrong. But a lot of shit goes down because of this dude. He's about to show up in this season when it comes back on Valentine's Day. And
what season are they even on right now?
It's going to be the mid-season premiere of season 6. It's gotten good. But a lot of crazy stuff is happening. So, and they had that issue with Glenn. Everyone thought Glenn was dead, and he wasn't. But so The Walking Dead's mixing it up.
Right.
But this game, I don't think is going to have people from the TV show. It's pretty much just going to be a zombie game using the Walking Dead name in it.
Yeah.
I just feel like that whole franchise has been. I just don't hear that much about it anymore. What it is, it doesn't seem like it's forefront in the culture like it used to be. When it first started. I mean, that's all people were watching and talking about was like, oh, did you see the Walking Dead episode last night? Now I don't. All the people that I knew that used to watch it don't watch it anymore. So
I wasn't around for that portion because I tried to watch it and I thought it was horrible. I watched like 30 seconds of it and then I gave it another shot in school one day because I didn't feel like doing work. I was like, oh wow. This is actually really good. And now I spent like 2 weeks trying to catch up to like the mid-season finale or season finale of season 4. I caught up just in time, but it's gotten to be a really good show. I enjoy it.
So,
male soap opera.
Go on to a game got banned from Twitch recently, and it's called Yandere Simulator. Have you guys heard of this game before?
When we talked about it earlier, I looked up some gameplay. It just looked like an anime game to me. I couldn't find anything that was disturbing about it. I couldn't find anything.
So, in this game, you play basically this girl is crushing on this guy. And what you do is any girl other than you that has any interest in the boy you like, you basically slaughter him and you hide the body. And then you have to clean up the blood afterwards. So, like, you'll go around the school, you'll kill some random girl, and then you can, like, start mopping up the blood after you dragged her across the floor to, like, the basement or something.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very kind of, like, minimalistic at the moment, because I think it's in, like, early access or something. But for some reason, Twitch does not like this game, and you can't do it.
Now is the killing like especially brutal or something, or what? What happens? You just stab them?
It's like Hitman, but you're playing anime.
I mean, I don't understand what Twitch is doing.
Was Hatred banned by Twitch? Because if it wasn't and they banned that game, that's a little.
I don't think Hatred was. I can't
see. That's a little bit hypocritical.
Well, even Hatred, forget Hatred. That honestly, Hatred wasn't even that bloody or gory.
I played Hatred. I bought it myself. I am getting a refund for it because the game was kind of broken.
It's the principle of the game, not the goriness of it.
The actual game itself wasn't even that bad. And I've seen a lot of gameplay of this game, and it's like you're playing Hitman or something, but with like you're killing schoolgirls and like mopping up after.
I mean, is GTA banned from Twitch? Because in GTA you go around murdering random people and like hanging out with strippers and stuff like that. So I mean. Like, I don't understand, that kind of stuff. It seems like some of these things like Twitch, I don't understand what their standards are, because there's games that are worse than this, But what I think it is because one game like GTA is a AAA title with a lot of money and power behind it, and a game like what is it called again? Yandre's
Simulator.
Yeah, that's some indie anime game that doesn't have any kind of power behind it. So what this is probably illustrating best is not Twitch has some kind of moral code, because they don't. Twitch is just fueled by money, and this doesn't have enough money to protect itself. So this is what happens.
Apparently, Hatred is also banned from being streamed on Twitch. So.
Well, I see. It's like they're trying to make it look like they're taking a stand, and while they may believe in some sense that they're bad games because of their principles, they're also not stopping games like GTA, which is arguably just as bad. But because GTA is made by a huge AAA developer who would probably just bribe Twitch into letting them do it, they're not going to stop it. So I mean, silly, it's nonsense.
I see it as a bit of censorship too, because like Hatred and this Yandere or whatever is not as bad as GTA. I've seen gameplay of both.
Yeah.
And GTA is way worse. Like, I could go on the side of the street with a big ass truck and just start running over a bunch of old people.
Yeah, exactly.
See, what annoys me with this kind of stuff,
and
don't
no
get me
one
wrong,
cares.
I love Walking Dead. Walking Dead's a very brutal show, and it's easy to watch for any person that has cable. There's no, like, blocking. I mean, you have to intentionally put parental controls to not be able to flip to that channel.
Well, I mean, there's no control in that kind of stuff. Yeah. Even when video games have their rating system and 17 plus is supposed to be the rule, like, not like kids aren't playing, kids under 17 aren't playing like Call of Duty and stuff. Like, you can't control that kind of stuff, but I don't think it's the place of Twitch to ban games that are, unless it's like something that's, the only thing I could think.
Qualified Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I think that's actually a thing.
I'm sure. Maybe the only thing I can think that may be justifiable to be banned is maybe but what? Like porn or something like that. That would be the only thing I could think of.
Porn. I think that'd be interesting to watch.
What was funny with the Playroom and PlayStation was
I forgot about that.
It was this video thing that you can do different things with the PlayStation camera, and like people would be streaming themselves like fucking something on stream.
I think what did it?
They had a ban.
What did it was this woman was drunk, like her husband got her drunk, and then he was like undressing her streaming, and she found out about it and made like a big deal, divorced him. And that's when it was, Twitch had to step in and be like, okay, we can't have this happening.
See, that kind of stuff is understandable because that's real life. That's really happening. Like, that's out of control.
It is pretty dangerous to have everybody have easy access to a video camera to stream.
Yeah.
Because
eventually someone's going to like have someone chained up to a wall and something you find on the deep web.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that kind of stuff I
get.
Us
their Playroom or something.
But I mean, video games, especially like simple little indie games that aren't even that detailed or brutal. That's Twitch doesn't need to be doing that. That's just unnecessary.
Even if it's a game that I don't particularly like or agree with or whatever. If someone wants to stream it, I really don't care. Because then guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to watch it.
It's not like you're forced to watch it.
You're not forced to watch these games. No one's forcing you to watch them. You're watching them.
Yeah, it's true. I think Twitch is overstepping their boundaries, even though, I mean, of course it is their company. It is their service, so it is within their rights to do that kind of thing.
Either they're overstepping or, something else is in that game, that simulator game. Can't remember the first name. But
yeah, maybe there's something we don't know about.
That, crosses the line.
So let's go on to Scalebound. It was an Xbox One exclusive game. Got delayed into 2017. Supposed to release later this year, but they said the development is going to require a bit more.
Isn't that like the dragon hunting game or something like that?
Yeah, it looks like Dragon Age, but it's Xbox only.
It looked pretty cool. I mean, I know it's Xbox only, but I saw some like trailers and stuff for it. It looked really cool, and that sucks that it gets delayed. But sometimes the delays are a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't want some unfinished product getting shipped to you. So
Yeah, you don't
Battlefield
want. Yeah, or Batman Arkham Knight on PC.
well, yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like that, and from what I saw in the trailers, it did look pretty ambitious for a console exclusive. So
Right,
I could kind of
Xbox One.
understand.
There was a lot of games that had performance issues last year.
Yeah.
I feel like didn't Unity come out last year? Or is
Yeah.
No, Syndicate was last year. Syndicate was last year.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That was
there
2014.
There was a decent amount of games last year that had problems.
Yeah, I mean,
2014 was the year of like
Oh yeah,
destruction.
2014
that
was bad.
That was the first big year for the PS4 and the Xbox One, so they had to push out a lot of games, and it caused them.
Watch Dogs and,
Oh, man.
Watch Dogs was
Unity.
terrible. That game was ugly. If you go back and play Watch Dogs, that game does not look
Yeah,
nice.
I tried. It gets like an average of 17 frames.
I have it on PC and I get a solid 60, but it's too ugly of a game to play. It's just like the thing is it's like in a city. You know how GTA has very vibrant colors and stuff, and it looks really nice.
It's
even
very
though the graphics
dull and gray.
Yeah, it's dull and gray. It's not that the textures aren't nice. It's like gray everywhere. It's like I need something more.
It was in Chicago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chicago.
And from what I've heard, there's a rumor that the reason why Assassin's Creed got delayed is because they want to do Watch Dogs 2 or something this year, which
probably be in
honestly,
New Jersey.
what they need to do is Watch Dogs is dead. It's not going to be a thing anymore because I don't even think most people, I don't think like that game, like a lot. I felt like the story itself was very mediocre and very average.
I like the story, it just
and
the
the
gameplay
multiplayer
didn't live up
sucked
to it.
massive dick. The multiplayer was terrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, I like the concept. I like the
concept
hacking
is
and stuff.
interesting.
I thought the story and the concept was a great idea. It's just the gameplay wasn't.
Yeah, and I mean the multiplayer, the controlled multiplayer was stupid. I had some fun roaming around though in the open world multiplayer. I appreciate them for making an open world multiplayer because every game needs that, and I'm sick of games not having that when they definitely should. I'm just throwing that out there.
I remember
it's
that's
an
the
open
one
world game.
If you have an open world game, there needs to be open world multiplayer with one or two other people. It's stupid that games like a lot of Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is a game that desperately needs that. Yeah, I mean they went too far with ESO, but if they can just scale that back to just being you and maybe two other friends roaming around doing stuff, that would be fun.
Someone's doing a mod for Skyrim that's like that. They've been working on it for a long time, and right now you can actually play together on Elder Scrolls Skyrim and play all the quests together in the game right now.
Right. But I want it for the newest one. I want Bethesda to put it in there.
Yeah, that's the thing is people don't want a mod.
Fallout needs multiplayer.
Fallout, that's another one.
Multiplayer would be amazing.
That would make that game much longer lived.
Yeah,
it had multiplayer like that. Because
I still play Fallout occasionally, but I've done almost everything you can do so far, and I did get my money out of it. I played 100-something hours of Fallout 4.
That's another game that they need to get a little bit more vibrant with the colors, with very brown.
I played Fallout 4. I played very little of it, but it had some, detailed colors compared to I've seen videos of Fallout 3. That shit was great.
Fallout 3 was bad because it had this green filter over the screen, and it was everywhere you went to was always tinted green, and it was ugly.
Yeah. That's Fallout 4 is a little bit better than that for sure.
It is,
but it still needs some help.
Yeah, they need to do some work on it. Let's go on to Atari is releasing an Atari Vault on Steam where you can replay 100 classic video games from the golden era of retro video games. Apparently, they have some added features.
If it's multiplayer, man, I'll sign me up.
honestly, like I've played some of those old games and they are actually pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
So
dude.
it does depend on what the price is gonna be. Oh, but they have
Dad and I have spent
Galaga,
hours on that
Galaxican. They have wow, they have a lot of
because
things.
they had a PS2 game come out. It was an Activision one. Every Atari game that was
Mm-hmm.
published by Activision, they put into like a PS2 collection, and they had like two-player multiplayer. Man, I put
Mm-hmm.
so many hours into that with my
They
dad.
just
That's
brought
what he grew up on.
they just
Apparently,
yeah,
apparently it works with. I'm sorry.
you're fine.
Sorry, but
Apparently they just brought a lot of old PS2 and like PS1 Star Wars games to PlayStation 4.
It came with the if you bought the system with Battlefront
Yeah, you
PS2
got like this
emulation was
thing, but
with
they're
it.
gonna bring it like individually so
Yeah.
you can buy them now.
See,
mhm,
I
it's
actually
cool.
bought San Andreas from PS2 on PS4, and it's supposed to have like re-rendered, upscaled graphics and everything. Honestly, from what I see, it's pretty much the same thing.
Nah, dude, old
Mhm.
games suck.
Yeah.
But
I
what I
don't
was
play
saying
old games. I
is,
get bored with them.
apparently Steam worked with them with the Steam controller, and they have the Steam controller's touchpad mimics the design and feel of the trackball that they had when they were playing like the original games.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It's nice to see Steam actually do things with the Steam controller because I have one and it works pretty well. It's so seamless getting into games. You just plug it in and press the button, and that's all you have to do. With a lot of other
Yeah.
controllers, you have to like pull up some random ass program
Yeah,
and do this and that. It's
set
such a
it up
pain.
right,
It's a pain in the
calibrate
ass.
it.
That's the only reason I got the Steam controller over the Xbox One Windows one, is just because the Steam one's working with Steam and Valve. So as far as support, Steam's gonna get a lot more support than
Yeah.
Microsoft's controller.
Plus, it's
That's what I'm
cheaper,
saying.
honestly.
That's
So
why
much
I'm saying
cheaper.
about the HTC Vive headset is gonna
Mhm.
get a lot more support than the Oculus Rift. Like by miles, just like you're experiencing with your Steam controller versus the Windows Xbox controller.
And it is. I do actually like the Steam controller though, because it's not like where most controllers it only works with games that only work with a controller. I can pull up games like Sim City or something, or a lot of other things, and it's completely fine.
Yeah. No, that's
And
good.
I pulled up several games like Sid Meier's Civilization 5. Works. I can literally sit on my bed, like lay back on my bed, and play Civilization on my big TV. That is fucking awesome. Like, that is
Great.
cool. So I do like what Steam has been doing with actually using the controller. That's pretty
Not a
cool.
bad price for it either. I mean, the controller to me, I've held one. It feels a little plasticky, but I mean, for $50, I mean, what are you gonna do?
So we're gonna go on to the Suicide Squad trailer and the Wonder Woman footage. So if you guys can pull that up on yours, we'll start that off.
Yep. I'm ready. Which one do you want to start with?
Yeah, I was gonna say, which
We're
one
gonna
are we
start
going
with
for?
Suicide Squad first. You guys ready?
No.
Do it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, start.
Now you guys can't hear this because we're not doing the audio because I'm not trying to get copyrighted, but the music in this trailer is excellent.
It is excellent.
It is such a good song to choose for this.
Yeah.
What song is this anyway?
It's Queen's.
Queen.
Oh, okay. I really like who they chose for Amanda Waller. She's the kind of leader of the Suicide Squad thing. They needed a really big, sassy black lady for it, and that's what they got. I'm happy.
Will Smith.
Killer Croc should be like 3 times bigger.
I like the way he looks, though. It'd be
Yeah,
kind of annoying to use him in the movie.
But then again, from The Dark Knight, Bane was not near as big as what he should have been.
Yeah. I like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be pretty good.
Is that what they really said?
I love Will Smith.
Will Smith is awesome.
He's so sarcastic.
He seems honestly pretty excited for this role than a lot of his other ones he's been in.
Well, I mean,
Because he's about to get bank from this.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. There's Joker. Oh my god.
Okay, did anyone notice the eyeball as a head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
I've seen it like 4 times.
Oh,
that was the first time I saw
that
that.
laugh from Joker is so good.
I mean, it's easy to be hyped for a role in like things of this
One of the biggest
scale.
movies of all time.
Yeah, like imagine the hype
People
you
have been
feel
waiting
if you're
for
like
this.
a panda. Like imagine the hype you would feel being like casted for like Star Wars or something like that. Like this, you feel the hype because this is a big moment for your career.
Oh, look at that. Did you notice that scene right there with Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
So,
good movie.
First impressions of this trailer. Go.
I mean, it looks good, just like all the DC
Awesomeness.
movies do.
I noticed
Excited.
a few things in this trailer. One is this is a Joker that we have never really seen before. Like you can't really compare him to Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill, Troy Baker. He's a different Joker entirely. And obviously he has a lot of money because he has a Lamborghini with
Yeah, I like chrome pink Lamborghini.
Yeah. One thing too is I think in this movie what is gonna really suit out to is my personal prediction is that Joker is the villain in this. And if you looked in the previous kind of little teasers, you can see a doctor on a table and Joker goes up to her, and obviously it's probably going to be a torture scene, but if you guys don't know DC Comics, that is basically how Harley Quinn is made. I think what this movie is going to do is it's going to bring Harley Quinn and Joker together as a character, and then in the new Batman movie, that's where they're kind of going to be able to do stuff. Because there was one point in the trailer that I saw where Joker and Harley Quinn were in like a pool or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was
weird.
Honestly, yeah, it looks weird, but I think that's when Harley Quinn becomes Harley Quinn.
My first impression of what these trailers, and I mean, I've seen a couple trailers for Suicide Squad, and I know this kind of fits their characters already, but what I'm seeing a lot of DC pushing towards now is a more like a Marvel like comedy, like where they have a lot of jokes and sarcasm along with the action, which is kind of what Marvel's been doing with their films.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I think that's a good way to go because, the Batman movies are kick-ass, but most of the movie is just dark and
I think the most
action.
entertaining part of it was the sentence where he said, "I'm not wearing hockey pads."
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the stuff that's not seen much in the old DC movies, but obviously, with Harley Quinn being how she is and the Joker and stuff, you're seeing a lot more of that in these new ones, which I think is a good path for them to take because it works for Marvel, so I don't know why it wouldn't work for them. So I'm excited to see that kind of push in that direction, and I do plan on seeing Suicide Squad just because, the cast is badass and
the cast is really good.
Yeah, it's such a good cast.
I think this Joker though is going to be really good. A lot of people first impressions they didn't really like him, but from what I've seen of him so far is I think he looks terrifying.
Yeah.
I think his look is really good.
Yeah.
And his acting, like he looks like he's in these scenes that very little we've seen. It does look like he is doing a really good job with the Joker.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a good movie.
I think the best thing for me personally is, and some people may be upset with me but I don't want to say I don't really care, but I'm not a comic book enthusiast, and so like DC and Marvel, that argument that people are always making about like how it's not true to comic or it's not true to the character, that kind of stuff doesn't affect me because I don't ever read any of the comics and I don't care anything about it.
Takes on them.
Yeah, I just want to see a good movie, so
Me,
I don't have those problems.
I have read some of the comics for like Flash and things like that. And one thing you have to keep in mind if you are a comic book fan is you have to treat these movies and different things like this like a different universe. Almost.
Better universe. One that we can actually see and
Even the
hear.
Because
Comics have, like,
if
multiple
you compare
universes.
everything to the comics, you're gonna be very
Sad
angry
boy.
with a lot of different things.
Which they are.
don't- Because this Joker is not like comic book Joker. This is a new Joker, a new take on the Joker we have never seen before. Me, I like that because the Joker that we've seen has been done so many times over that I want a new take on the Joker. I don't want a cookie cutter Joker that we've seen, all the other Joker
normal,
people do.
Close your eyes and
Like
think of
Troy
Joker.
Baker, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill did the voice of the Joker for like 20 years. Like, I don't want another Mark Hamill or Troy Baker or Heath Ledger. I want something new. And that's
Whoa.
Can't have
That's
another
what
Heath
this guy
Ledger.
does.
You
so-
can't have another Heath Ledger.
That's true.
That was
I'm
a
just-
different level of acting, okay, my friend. Like I'm not gonna compare the two, but Heath Ledger
Well, I
should
said
be.
you can't have another Heath Ledger because try to ask him to go make another movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's just me. But I'm just saying his performance as Joker should be Hall of Fame type shit. I mean, that was some good stuff.
He died because he put too much dedication into that role.
That is what it means
And I'm
to
not
be a real
trying
actor.
to come across as if like his performance wasn't good. I'm just saying seeing a new take on the character is entertaining.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, let's check out this Wonder Woman.
Yes, let's go on to the
I
Wonder Woman.
I skipped to 12
was gonna say,
seconds
yeah,
because
this one's
they
a little
talk
bit
for
different.
like a little bit.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's
let's go on
the
to
actual
that.
trailer starts at 12.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh yeah, horses. Horses, okay. So now does this take place like in the past of our
That's what
timeline?
it seems like so far.
Yeah. Most people aren't riding around on horses and stuff. Oh, it's like World War II. Those were German soldiers she
Yeah,
was
is
just
she gonna
fighting.
be
Well,
Captain
she's
America?
old. She's from like I don't know something.
Is she
Chris
in Captain
Pine.
America? Well, I guess we won't see that because DC and Marvel, but
Well, I'm
is it
saying
the same
like,
timeline?
She's like an Amazonian type thing. I think she's an alien too. I don't know much about Wonder Woman, but I don't think she's human. She doesn't look human.
Amazonian warrior.
Does look human.
I mean, she looks human, but as far as her abilities are not
Yeah,
very,
no,
yeah.
obviously, but yeah. I
One
was
thing
gonna
that's
say.
interesting too is that it looks like in the TV show for Justice League they had this kind of romance between Wonder Woman and Batman a lot, and I wonder if they're gonna try to do that in the in the actual movie.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be in this movie because this movie is taking place before Batman is even a thing.
Well, I'm just
So-
saying in like
Well,
because
she's
there's
in
gonna
Batman
be
versus Superman.
she's in Batman versus
Yeah.
Superman, and there's gonna be a Justice League movie.
Well, yeah,
All the heroes.
I'm sure they'll probably play that out there.
So I'm
But-
just wondering, like, how they're going to approach it. How I think this movie might be similar to how Captain America was, but I'm not
Yeah.
entirely positive.
It looks like, honestly, like when you watch that trailer, it looks like the Captain America movie, but with her instead of him.
I think
Like
it
the
looks
way
cool.
the
She
way the
looks like a
cinematography
badass.
was working and the setting, of course, is basically the same as Captain America. Like it looks very similar, which is not a bad thing because the first Captain America movie was amazing. So hey, all the power to you. But it does
I
give you
think
that
it
same
looks good.
feeling. Like I said, the first Captain America movie was great, so I'm not upset if this one is very similar to that. But it does give you that same feeling to me. And plus of course she does have a shield and stuff, so it's also kind of Captain America. She uses it differently, but she does have it. I like it. I don't think I'm gonna see it, but it looks cool. I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan in general, so I don't know anything about her. Nor do I really want to.
Did you guys see what they had a picture of they showed all the new costumes for the Justice League for the movie. Put the link in TeamSpeak, you'll get that. But we've already really seen Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. That's been kind of obvious. Aquaman, we haven't seen a ton on. And same with Cyborg and Flash. Cyborg, he's Cyborg. He's not really that exciting, but I think Flash and Aquaman look pretty cool as far as new things we've seen. Flash looks a lot like, though, Chris, you remember the Injustice?
Aquaman looks really manly.
Aquaman's
he looks like
a
beast.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
The guy who played Khal Drogo is playing Aquaman.
That's crazy. Because what I always pictured Aquaman was just like clean shaven. Like, I think isn't that how they represented him in like Injustice? He was just like a clean shaven.
In
like
this one, he has like a long, rough hair and a fucking beard. Like, he looks badass.
Looks like a beast. So he's always made fun of in the comic DC world. People are always like, "Oh, Aquaman."
A lot of this DC news and stuff coming out came from a special that was done on CW after the episode of The Flash. And the movie they talked about the most as far as like a story was actually the Flash movie. That and I believe the Cyborg movie. So for the Flash movie, they set up the same exact foundation as the TV show. So essentially in Flash, if you don't know, Barry Allen, his mother's killed. His father's put in prison for it. He goes into forensic science, like a CSI, because he wants to prove that his father's innocent. And when one time he's working on his mother's case, a bolt of lightning hits him and he gains super speed.
Whoa. Beautiful.
So my prediction for this movie, villain is going to be Reverse Flash. Because just from that foundation alone, his mother's killed, his father is blamed for it, gets put in prison, and he gets hit by a bolt of lightning. I'm sorry, that is Reverse Flash right there. His name's on that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Reverse Flash, and it's gonna be Flash. But
wait a minute, why does the bolt of lightning give him powers? People get struck by lightning a lot.
Okay, the thing is that when he got struck by lightning, he had like a bunch of chemicals and stuff behind him. So when he got struck by it, that's what happened. In the TV show, a particle
I love these origin stories.
Explodes, and then from that, for some reason, that gives him his powers.
Interesting.
But in the comics, he ends up going back in time, and he is the lightning bolt that gave himself his own powers. Which is confusing.
That's hilarious.
Because that means that how can he become the Flash? Because he's not the Flash to get the bolt of lightning to hit him.
I don't know, man.
It's a paradox.
That's just weird. That's just a weird origin, but I like it.
I think this movie is going to be good. Because a lot of people don't really even care about Flash that much until the TV show came out. I mean, I was one of them. I didn't really think too much of the Flash. The TV show is really good. I hope they do the same thing with, the same type of quality with the movie. I'm just not sure about the actor. He's Ezra Miller, which is, I think he was in The Perks of a Wallflower or that kind of movie. He hasn't really been in any like superhero type movie really ever.
Yeah. Well, it'll be cool to see how it works out. And I do believe that was our last bit of information for this week's episode. We do have to end with our quick funny question of the week just to keep tradition. And the question this week, it's nice and simple. And it is, what would your DJ name be? If you were a DJ, in the clubs, what's your name? What's your alias? Man. You guys got, come on.
Oh, jeez. I gotta think.
Big Homie.
Oh, yeah, DJ Big Homie. Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm going to go with, what was that guy in the Mortal Kombat
That's exactly what I was trying to think of.
What was it, like Zaka Kababa or something like that?
Zarkamapa?
That was
Marka.
Rat-a-tat. I'm going to be Rat-a-tat. Say Rat-a-tat. I love it. That'll do it for this week's episode number 6. If you like what you heard here, you can follow us on SoundCloud, which really does help the podcast move up. And if you want to know about our other stuff going on, We have Twitter, which is at Iron Sentinels, and we have YouTube, which is YouTube or Iron Sentinels Gaming. We have all of our content there. Please go subscribe and follow and everything. We love you if you do, and we hate you if you don't. That's how that works. So have a great day, and we'll see you next week.